Hello all. So this is Sanjeev, and in this video we'll be studying a part of not that is being new to in a new content in our channel. So I'm going to study that I just want to share with you all the Netflix content architecture that they use to share the content from one place to other whenever they require whenever they get a new user, or they used to upload any new files in their servers, or they used to hit the servers at the specific time. All these problems and all these misconceptions in your mind would be addressed in this video. So let's proceed. So what happens is, actually Netflix is a company, it's an American based company which is used to stream the HD content videos, like as we do in many online streaming devices like Hotstar and Amazon Prime, etc. So what mainly does is, it's Netflix mainly organize different format qualities like 1080p, 720, 840p, etc. And actually all this content and all these videos are being stored under one common buffer, which is being commonly stored at internet service provider. So what happens is, it's being compressed using a file called codecs. So codecs is being mainly used for minimizing the file, and codecs is being mainly used for minimizing the file compressions, and it is also used for reducing the load. But as the user experience shouldn't be reduced, right? So to ensure the quality, so that they get the cost effective minimum, but to increase the user experience, they mainly use this codecs, right? So now what happens is, they used to play the content at different resolutions as according to the availability of internet speed by the user, or the plans that is being chosen by the user, right? So what happens is, they have three main qualities: the 1080p, 720p, and 840p, etc. So all this have normal contents, but what happens with this is, if there are f frames, supposed to be f frames that is being stored in different formats, right? So the resolution that they provide is 3 resolutions. So f cross r equal to v. So this v is being divided into chunks of data, where chunks means each data is being divided into particular frames. So what happens is, if we imagine a GAM chart, right? If we imagine a GAM chart of consisting of a playback scenario of 3 seconds or 4 seconds, so what happens is, once the user gets the data with him, he used to play continuously like before 10 seconds, after 10 seconds, etc. But what happens is, once the user get back to his normal form, once his internet buffer, it mainly buffers the data, right? So it mainly buffers the data, so which can degrade the user experience also. So if at all, if the user experience is being degraded, so his internet speed is being less, so what happens is, his experience is degraded, and he could just always hit the US servers that is being placed by the Netflix at the US, so that it could precisely bring more load to the server as compared to other computers, right? So to bring a permanent solution and to bring an optimized solution for this, what they did is, they divided the whole video slice into small chunks of slice, where what happens is, if, like, imagine a gang chart, if at all it was for 15 seconds, so what happens is, if the video was paused for 2 seconds, then it would just recover the content from 1 second, it would just fast forward to third second, right? So it would be it's simple logic, where the content is being fast forwarded, and it's been just it's been just pre-forwarded, and it can be viewed accordingly, however time and however convenience by the user. So what happens is, this individual frames, as I mentioned, 0 to 15, it's been 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. So this individual frames is being again divided into further subframes, where they have each number of subframes, like they have frames as accordingly from 0 to 10, some kinds from 0 to 20. So what they do is, they divide the chunk of data, that's, as I already mentioned in the previous part. Chunks of data means it's nothing but flow of data in a sequence, right? So they again divide this data into another set of chunks of data. That means a set of gang chart is being put, but again a set of GAM chart is being put between the two slices itself from the two strict intervals, right? So I mean to say this. So next what happens is, once they get down to this small chunks of data again, so it's been a bit interval, where what happens is, people used to just fast forward the things, store the things, upload the things, etc. So they just store the content in the small chunks of data, small frames, so that it could precisely work with the content experience that user mainly attract. And it could just not say that, okay, this is buffering, so we could just play on to next film, right? So it would just degrade their plans and buy after MNC, so that it could also use many strategies to overcome their market shares, etc. So it's been a bit like the flow of data is being not majorly drastic as the time frames is being againly divided into small time frames, right? So what happens is mainly this time frames, as the engineers of Netflix assign them, the data is being pre-located to the pre-sorted frames and the data is being again stored in the post-sorted frames. So once the user experience is not degraded, how it can be managed is when the user sees a buffer in front of its screen, so he will just got tedious and he got tension, right? So to avoid this over collision in this data, so what they do is they used to store some kind of pre-content data in pre-time frames by dividing it into another small frame set of small frames, let's say about to L size, and to the right of that they divide the same size of the content right to the M size, right? So what happens is whenever the user experiences a buffer, like as we do in YouTube also applies the same principle, right? So they divide the further content into small type of frames, where what happens is mainly the repeated content is being shown for a couple of seconds, then it immediately pings the server, and it's immediately not pinging the main server, it immediately pings the ISP, and it also directly provides you the fresh content that is being uploaded daily. Okay, so now let's proceed in this video, and now next we are just move to the database that is being used mainly by the Netflix to store the data, right? So although it may be very big question, right, there are many web series, there are many new content are being uploaded, so how could they manage without even lag or without even ever demanding servers are being placed across the globe? So how they manage it? Guys, the answer is very simple. Actually what they do, when I also googled and we also do the research, and I just got a simple answer that they use the Amazon S3, right? So as you all know, what is Amazon S3? To be more precise, Amazon S3 is a data server that is being provided by the Amazon in a very low cost, but they used to manage very well efficiently, and this kind of data chunks flow is being already managed by the Netflix servers. Also they have their own local host servers, but Amazon S3 is a basic server that they use mainly for to store the data, and this is a kind of a static drive, right? So I mean to say, while they store the content in the small time frames, what happen is there are being two types of move that they do, like sparsely move and densely move. The sparsely move actually something which is being mainly used to do with the help of like plus minus 10 to 20 seconds, right? When the time range is like we go to increase at 50 seconds, 1 minute and 2 minutes, etc. So what happens is mainly dense index is being used where the content is being moved to 60 seconds or 70 seconds, etc. So Amazon S3 is a kind of data store that is being mainly used for statically store the data. So another big question arises in your mind is how they store the data, how it's being without a lag, and how it's been without even disturbing, and we can access the content outlet. Guys, the answer to this also is very simple. Actually what happens is they do not, every time whenever you log in, it's been eco-friendly, it's been always friendly, right? So it's been depends on your internet speed. So what they do is they in the situated countries across the globe, across the continent, they used to provide a namesake servers, like with the help of ISPs itself. So what happens is every time they used to log in, they used to refresh the content. Like it's a simple concept, like they use the basic our cache memory in our phone. So what happens is our cache memory stores a bit of data that is being frequently accessed by us, right? So the same happens by themselves. Again what happens is the ISP itself provides them a data store which is used to store the data that is being frequently accessed by the particular user or particular accessibility account by the Netflix, right? So what happens is next, every time they do not hit the US servers for the as they would cause a load for them, but insteadly what they do is the ISP provides them a local server. So if suppose if let us take an example, if there are 3 servers that is being provided like by the ISP. In the first server, if you are a customer, if you are using a ISP server, then it's being 3 servers are provided. So firstly they provide you firstly you are using facebook.com, secondly you are using YouTube, thirdly you are using Netflix, right? So netflix.com again receives refresh for the content that is being you previously loaded or previously left out with, right? So so what it will do, it will not hit the US server, instead it will hit the ISP server, and it would just see the cache memory that is being filled in the name of you or your phone's MAC address or Bluetooth address. So it will just indicate the amount of content that you have already watched in a particular series. So it will just log on to this content and it would just been fetch the data and given back to you, and you will resume watching. So if you like to watch a new content, right, so what happens is it would again suggest you with the time frame slot, the mechanism that I already told you in the future part of this past part of this video. So what happens is it again stores the data and again fetches you the new content. So distributed servers are being based and used to store the cache data mainly, and that is being mainly given by the ISP, right? So ISP actually also provides a cache memory, like as already previously talked. So actually what happens is this open connect is being a feature of Netflix that is being mainly used to extract the data whenever they require. 90% of the Netflix technologies, like 90% of Netflix videos and Netflix technologies, like they have subdomains, right? So all these technologies have been mainly basic on this open connect itself. Open connect is an open source feature which is being prevailing in the Netflix, which they use to access the intermediate content or on-demand content, especially from where they can easily stream the videos and from wherever you want, right? So next question is from how they maintain the servers and how they upload the content. So as I already mentioned, ISP provides you namesake server. So what you can do is you can just set a time, like as we do backups in our WhatsApp data, right? So they also set a time where the loads in the server is very minimum, like let's choose it's been 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. where the new content of data is being uploaded by the US servers, where the ping would be least minimum and the traffic would be also least minimum, so that it would be easily transport of large data to the ISP servers. It would just easily accommodate the old content that is being not watched for at all, like a 5 years before content, or else it will be removed and some kind of new content, new series or new web series would be added in the Netflix ISP service from the US main service. And Netflix also basically runs a distributed server, as I already mentioned. What do you mean a distributed server? Distributed service is a server that is being not concentrated on a single continent or single country. It's been distributed geographically across the globe, where what happens is people used to just interact with each other, and the ping is being also distributed, so that if a collapse on a particular server occurs, then it would just redirect to the some other server where we could just easily redirect the data, especially banking servers and the YouTube servers, all the social media, all the providers of all the internet based applications have been basically based on distributed servers, like it's a Google also, right? So it's being distributed where people used to get more information, between the people used to get more accessibility, more amount of speed, etc., as people also want that only. So they used to access the data more fastly in distributed server as compared to centralized server, because centralized servers can be easily targeted by malware also, so that they could also not avoid them, and if the database collapses, then whole server would be down for the whole world and they couldn't access any kind of data, right? So this is the basic content of architecture, how Netflix uploads the videos to its next generation targeting audiences, and machine learning algorithms are being backendly used by the Netflix to target the audience again, as it's being MNC, so it would definitely use to target the audience for gain more money and to make purchase of Netflix. So this is basically the information that I wanted to give you all. Okay, so if you have any suggestions regarding this video, this is a new kind of series that I have started to explain the architecture of something, or to kind of a kind of separate series apart from data science. Occasionally these kind of videos will be also uploaded in our channel, so do subscribe and like and share the content if you have liked it. So that's all for today. Let me meet you in the next video. Thank you.